You ever feel like you're not all there and you're not really connected or focusing on what you're doing on the pool table? Outside of bad basics and a bad stroke, a lazy mind might be the number one killer of pool players. This is why most of my videos over the years on this YouTube channel and most of my pool videos have been focused on runout strategy and planning the whole rack after the break and all 9 balls or however many balls are left on the table after the break. So this can be associated with the mental aspects that deal with pool. But the runout strategy is a little bit different because it's not a specific thing we can target. Lately I've been covering specific mental issues such as nervousness, low confidence, dealing with self-doubt, things like this that you can specifically point to but we can't see. And those things are rarely covered because we can't see it, we can't point to it. We can see a player missing a shot and figuring out what they did wrong physically. But what they're doing wrong physically is usually a result of what they were thinking or their level of concentration when they shot the shot. But in this video, I'm going to go back to my usual runout strategy just to give everybody a break from that and let all that sink in. And we will continue with that series, but right now we should just absorb that and move back to a runout strategy. I think it's imperative that we can see the whole rack after the break and we can plan it and we can see ourselves doing it and therefore we can do it. I really believe this is a key to playing high level pool. Hey, 3 balls on the break. We got a really strange layout. Your first issue is the question, does this 2 ball pass the 5 ball into the bottom left hand corner? And it does, so we're good with that. But the next issue you should go to is the 7 ball is kind of tied up with the 8, and there's only one available pocket for the 7 if we don't break that cluster out. The biggest problem is getting from the 5 ball to this place on the 7 to make the 7 in the side is going to be quite difficult with that 8 ball in a way. So the best thing you can do is knock this 7 ball out of the cluster. And amateur players go wrong here and they tend to just, knock it out at full speed and just take what's left. They don't plan it out. This one's easy to plan out. We can barely nick the top of the 7 just to push the 7 between the 8 and the 9, and we can push the cue ball to the right hand side rail to come out for perfect position on the 7 ball. Now with those 2 big issues out of the way, the run out will look like this. Now, in this graphic, which is the plan running around in my head, you'll notice that I'm just stun drawn off the 4 to get right on the 5. But when I actually play the rack, I go to the left-hand side route and bounce off to get right on the 5. And that's all because I didn't get perfect on the 4 ball. And here's the same situation we had on the 4 ball in this graphic. I'm just drawing back to get straight in on the 8, but in reality I had to go off the left-hand side rail to get right on the 8, and that's because I didn't get perfect on the 7. And at this point in the game, you should clean out that bottom left-hand corner pocket because we shot most of these balls in that pocket, and it's got to be filled up by now. And as for the rest of this rack, if you got straight in on the 9 ball, it's just 2 simple stop shots to win the game. And planning a rack on 9 balls it's gonna take a little bit of practice if you're not used to doing it. You have an incredible teaching source right here on the internet, and you can go to any pro match, pause after the break, and go ahead and plan the rack. This will get your brain used to thinking that much, and the first few times that you do it, you'll probably get a headache. But it really is an incredible teaching tool, because when the pro doesn't do what you planned, you can go back and figure out why he did what he did, or she, and if their way is better than your way, and what makes it better than your way. Learning these things is just unbelievably vital, and we didn't have this teaching tool back in the old days.
Damn spoiled kids.
Most of all, it's going to get your brain used to thinking like this, and if you want to play high level pool, you're going to have to think like this. All 9 balls ahead, plan the whole rack, and when you screw it up, just re-plan the whole rack. It doesn't take as long as you might think, and it's not as hard as you might think once you get used to it. Hey, this rack was pretty easy. Next one's not going to be so simple. Thanks for joining me. Peace.